Guys, how's it going, everybody? My name is What's Wrong, and ladies and gents, we're gonna be running through all 72 good googly moogly, all 72 characters in Batman Arkham Knight. Yes, there's a lot to cover here, and we're gonna run through all of that here today. Let me know what you guys think of the character designs. Let me know what your favorite top 3 characters are in the comment section below, and of course leave a like if you guys are enjoying the video. Don't forget, we've already done a ton of showcase videos. We've done the Batmobile showcases, we've done some of the vehicle showcases, and in addition to that, I am still trying to go on ahead and I'm trying to do my best to figure out how to unlock these 2 remaining costumes that are still locked so that then I could do a complete costume showcase. But for now, let's transition over to the next tab and showcase some characters. So let's kick things off with the one and only Aaron Cash, who obviously is a returning character. He has appeared in, I was gonna say every Arkham game, but I don't think he actually appears in Origins. I don't remember, but outside of that, I guess every Rocksteady Arkham game he does make an appearance in. So that's pretty cool. Then we have the Ace Workers, which are the employees of Ace Chemicals. So I guess this is a bit more of a like generic character because it's not even specific as far as like, you know, character names or anything like that. But these are the Ace Chemical building workers that you rescue at the very kind of like early parts of Arkham Knight. It's not like right at the beginning, but very early on. There's a mission involving Batman having to rescue those guys. Then we have right here a Joker-infected and former champion boxer, aka the Gotham Goliath, Albert King, which is very cool. I did not actually know that he had a specific name, but you do battle him in the game. He looks pretty epic for sure. There he is, the Gotham King, Albert King. Gotham Goliath, Albert King. Pretty cool name. Then you got Alfred Pennyworth, who's the... looking a little worse for wear, honestly. Looking very pale there. Honestly, obviously has seen better days, but it is Alfred, so you got to appreciate the fact that he is obviously in the game. Then we have the Arkham Knight, who is, of course, later on revealed to be Jason Todd, and he later on also does become the next character on the showcase, which would be Red Hood. I do wonder why they placed them like this, because it's like shouldn't he be under the letter R as Red Hood? But regardless, you can see that obviously he still has a lot of the same character designs from the Arkham Knight. He just changes out the helmet to be obviously more themed towards the Red Hood, and then some of the body armor, I guess, is a tad bit different. Plus he gets a logo on his chest to symbolize the Red Hood. All right, from there we transition to the Militia characters. You know what? I'm realizing this. I think this actually goes in the order of characters appearing, possibly, and not alphabetical order. I thought it was alphabetical at first because of Aaron Cash, Ace Workers, Albert King. I thought maybe that's the order they were going with, but maybe this is more so about the characters as they appear. So here's the Militia group, which is the Arkham Knight squadron here, and you can see kind of the different classes for the most part that you would fight. I guess they don't have any of the armored guys or the electric baton enemies, but these are, I guess, the more general squadron that you would fight as far as the Arkham Knight is concerned. Then you have the combat specialists here, who are somewhat like the ninja characters from Arkham City. So somewhat like the Ra's al Ghul warriors. So they have similar gameplay mechanics as far as like how they attack and how to dodge them and things like that. Then you have the Arkham Knight's personal guard, which are a pain because you actually can't detect them in the detective mode. So you know how like when you go into detective mode in this game, for the most part, you can see enemies. You kind of pick up on their like heat signatures and things like that. These guys are disguised, and as a result of that, they're a lot more difficult to take down because you have to actually be able to spot them and be careful about not getting caught by them. Similarly to how they typically get caught by Batman. Then we have the minigunners, which are very annoying. They cannot be stealth taken down. You can actually take them down with like gadgets and things like that, so that's kind of cool. But for the most part, most of the time when you're battling them, you're gonna need to actually fight them. Which makes them a bit of a different challenge as compared to the vast majority of enemies that you deal with. Here's the Militia Brute, another character that cannot be stealth taken down, nor will you ever be in a situation where you need to stealth take down one of these types of enemies. So again, this is one of those enemies that typically you need to hit with a stun attack and then land a sequence of punches to take down. Then you have Militia Checkpoint Commanders. So these are the ones that you deal with for... I forget what they were called. It's not Campaign for Disarmament. There's a set of missions in Arkham Knight that you complete that involves specifically these enemies. In particular, the enemy in the center, which is the actual commander that you're supposed to defeat. Then we have Azrael here, who's looking pretty epic. Sword in hand, epic cape, ready to go on ahead and defend Gotham. Looking very, very cool. Then we've got Batman Unmasked variation. This is the last sort of sequences of the game feature this version of Batman. It is odd. Why is he not wearing a cape? I don't remember. Was he capeless during this? Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I cannot remember that. But it looks pretty cool. Cool design, obviously, for the new Arkham Knight costume. Then we have the cult members here. So again... just some more of the kind of general enemies that you fight, so nothing too specific there either as far as like names or anything like that. Then you do get a name for this guy. This is Deacon Blackfire, a cult leader and religious zealot. Looking pretty intimidating with whatever's going on the chest there with all those tattoos, or I don't know if those are just like painted on or whatever it is, but... a pretty creepy looking design for that character. Then you have Christina Bell here, a Joker infected and former executive of Queen Industries, which is kind of cool. You know, Queen Industries, implying Oliver Queen, of course, and his appearance being a thing in this world. Unfortunately, we've never seen, at this point in time, we've never seen Rocksteady explore any of the other DC characters in this world, but they definitely have hinted at the fact that they exist, whether it be Superman, Oliver Queen, Lex Luthor, etc. We've definitely seen their appearances. So here we have some character models for some civilian characters. So just general civilians of Gotham. Okay, that is terrifying. So here you have some of the demons at the very opening of the game in the diner. So these are the hallucinogen versions of civilians when the fear toxin spreads at the hands of Scarecrow. Then you have family right here, which of course is the family of the Waynes, really. Not just any other family here. So there you go. Or actually, I guess maybe this isn't the Waynes, because this is, I think, the family that you see at the very end of the game in Nightfall Protocol, which if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's on the channel. So then we move on to the armed police here. So you have some GCPD officers right there. Then you have police officers, just general police officers, I guess. None. I wonder why those ones are considered armed and these ones are unarmed. What's the difference? Oh, okay. These are the tactical. Okay. Then you have Deathstroke right here, aka Slade Wilson, who unfortunately doesn't really appear in the game. It would have been cool if there was a boss fight against him, especially him returning from Arkham Origins. Would have been kind of neat, but hey, at least we have the character model there. Then you have the Dollartrons, which are the Professor Pig, basically lackeys that you end up battling when you find Professor Pig, whom we'll see in a little bit. Here's Firefly, who's actually one of the most fun missions in the game, were all the chase missions with Firefly. I really like how they were able to justify the Batmobile being used specifically in these fights. It's like, hey, if you want to take down Firefly, you will need to rely on the help of the Batmobile, which was very, very cool. Then you have some of the firefighters here, which you rescue throughout with some missions that... you need to complete throughout the entire game, where you're rescuing first the firefighters and then the fire chief. Then, speaking of chiefs, here is the chief of the GCPD itself. It is Commissioner Gordon, looking pretty epic. Very, very cool design, of course. Then you've got Harleen Quinzel, aka Harley Quinn, who once again gets a new costume in this Arkham game as well. So very cool. Then we have the Harley Quinn thugs. So this is specifically her kind of militia groups, because obviously every bad guy or villain, I guess, in Gotham gets their own kind of squadron of bad guys. Here we have the brutes from Harley's class. So you can see that you've got the electric glove enemies, you got the regular brute, and then you've got the sword or knife brutes as well. Then we have the minigun brute. So again, she obviously has every single class of enemies, just like we saw with the Arkham Knight. So a bit of a repetition there, but at least they do get unique new design. Then you have Henry Adams here, who's one of the most terrifying characters in this game. Has some of the craziest scenes for sure. Very, very spooky design. Then you have Hush right here, aka Thomas Elliot, who looks an awful lot like Bruce Wayne. Well, that's because that's what he's after, but you can see he looks pretty cool and quite accurate to Bruce Wayne, of course. Then we have Jack Ryder, who plays a much more significant role in this game than I ever thought he would in any Arkham game. And it seems like his entire role slowly but surely increased, like whether it be from Arkham Asylum, where I think he was just kind of like a background character. I think you'd hear him on like a news report or radio cast or something like that, broadcast. And then in City, you actually see him like at the very opening scenes and rescue him as well. And then in this game, he plays a much more significant factor. Here you have Jason Todd. This is in those flashback hallucination scenes between Joker, Jason Todd, and Batman. Then you have Johnny Charisma, who's probably the most Joker-esque character that you run into that isn't actually the Joker. I mean, I guess Henry Adams, you could make the argument, is also very Joker-esque, but this guy definitely behaved more like youthful Joker. Speaking of which, there he is himself, the Joker, looking pretty cool. A really cool background effect that they established for him as well. Then you have Sick Joker, which is the Titan overdose Joker. He doesn't really make a huge significant appearance in the game, but I guess they decided to include him as a separate character. I don't necessarily know why that is, because it's like, it's still the Joker, so I don't understand why he gets a different character slot, but okay. Then you have Young Joker, which you see in the flashback scenes between Joker and Barbara Gordon and how she becomes paralyzed. So that's what that refers to. Then we have Lucius Fox here, who looks pretty epic. Very, very cool that he gets his own character spot this time in the game. And you can see some Bat Gadget there. Is that the... I think that's the Disruptor there. Then we have Man-Bat here, who's probably one of the most terrifying creatures that you run into in the Arkham Knight video game. The jump scares with this guy are pretty crazy, and just the design that they have for this guy is pretty bananas. I mean, look at that. Then you have Kirk Langstrom here. So this is Man-Bat himself. Well, prior to becoming Man-Bat, I guess. Then you have Primates, who do appear in the game and actually play a pretty significant role in several Riddler trophies that you collect. Then you have Oracle, aka Barbara Gordon. So she obviously plays a very, very massive role in this game. Then we have the paramedics of Gotham City here. So there you go. All right, let's move along to another big Arkham, or Gotham, I guess, villain. This is the Penguin, who actually looks quite a bit different than what he did in Arkham City, which is really cool. Then we have several of his particular class of thugs here. Whoops, why does it keep doing that? That's so strange. It keeps like jumping up even though I click. Okay, there we go. So this is his kind of like squadron of thugs, and then he also does get brute enemies as well. So you can see, again, all three different classes of brutes available to him. I guess there weren't any Penguin minigunners, so they're not showing those. Then you have Poison Ivy, who suffers very interesting fate, let's put it that way, in this game. So I'm going to try not to spoil that too much, even though I guess we already spoiled the Arkham Knight, but she makes a grandiose sacrifice for all of Gotham, for sure. Then you have Professor Pig, who I genuinely think that he's straight up out of a horror movie. I mean, look at him. He looks terrifying. Then you have some general Gotham press. So again, a bit more of the generic characters here. They don't get names or anything like that, but just background characters, I guess. Then we get the Riddler, who once again has a very different design in this game than he did before. I don't think that this is a really good design for Riddler. I actually think that the Arkham City design was much better for him. I think he looked cooler. This one just looks... It almost looks like this should have been the first look for him, kind of like younger Riddler, and then over time, he like would build up to the one that we see in Arkham City. And then, of course, whoops, I thought we had already selected the mech suit. So I was trying to zoom out. And then we have the actual Riddler mech, which is awesome. I do think that it's really cool that Riddler assembles a mech suit to try to battle Batman, because he cannot obviously offer any type of a physical threat to Batman. So he decides to go on ahead and build that physical threat via his mech suit. And speaking of building things, these are the Riddler robots. Then we have some rioters here. Just, again, general characters that are not, I guess, associated with any specific Arkham villain. Then we've got Scarecrow right here, who, again, the entire motif of Arkham Knight, I think, is the most horror-esque. Like, you look at this character model, it is absolutely terrifying. It is the scariest Scarecrow design we have seen so far, and I think they knocked it out of the park for sure. Then we have Simon Stagg here, whose hair kind of reminded me of Joker, and for some reason I thought that he would maybe like embody the Joker going forward. I don't know. It was just, for whatever reason, I thought he looks Joker-esque. Then you have the Sea Scientist. I'm not really sure why that's considered to be a character class. That just seems strange. Then you have Two-Face right here, who again is a villain that you deal with via some side quests and side missions in the game, but you will need to complete those if you are hoping to get to the Nightfall Protocol. So that'll be something that you will need to complete. Then we have Vicky Vale here, who does not play as major of a role in this game as she did in Arkham City, because in Arkham City there's that helicopter rescue mission. Here she's more in kind of the cutscenes sort of appearances, but I guess it's still kind of cool. This is the waitress character that appears at the very beginning of the game in the diner scene. So that's kind of neat. Then you have Killer Croc, who has a very, very, very major redesign for this particular game. And again, you can see that the other designs that we've seen for Killer Croc had him a lot more kind of almost like animated series Killer Croc as far as the design is concerned. This one is a lot more terrifying, a lot more of a just spooky version of Killer Croc. And I think it's the best one we have seen in the entire Arkham series. Then we have some Iron Heights guards. So again, some more of the general characters here. These guys are the ones that you run into when you go to do the DLC missions with Killer Croc. Then you have the Arkham Heights prisoners as well. So again, just some more of the general character models and characters that you would run into during those missions. Then we have right here a Mad Hatter, again, another one of the characters that appears, interestingly enough, both in the DLC and the core game, which is kind of strange. I sort of wish that maybe for the DLC they would have saved a character that doesn't appear in the core game. That way it would, feel a little bit more special, but regardless, his storyline is actually pretty cool, and the DLC mission is as well. Speaking of cool storylines and DLC missions, here's Mr. Freeze, who appears as part of a DLC mission, and just a really, really cool character, and has a really cool DLC Arkham episode. And, sorry, not Arkham episode. I guess it's just a DLC mission, because the Arkham episodes are more specific to the Bat family, Red Hood, and Harleen Quinzel. Then we have Nora Freeze here, who a lot of people call Nora Fries incorrectly. So there you go. There's the character model for Nora. Then we have Ra's al Ghul, who is still on the loose in the conclusion of the game. So it's interesting that he is one of the very few villains, this zombified version. This goes back to what I was talking about, how it feels like the Arkham Knight game really kind of ratcheted up the horror scale, and they went through the kind of more toned down looks that we've seen before, and they kind of went like, okay, let's just go full-blown terrifying with a lot of the designs that we see in this game. Then you have Anissa Ratko or Ratako. I don't know how to say that correctly. Rotko, maybe. So this is another daughter of Ra's al Ghul and a member of the League of Assassins. And then last but certainly not least, speaking of the League of Assassins, you have the Loyalist Assassins, which are Ra's al Ghul's faithful warriors who have sworn to protect him and continue to do so. And then you have the Rebel Assassins, who obviously are trying to take down Ra's al Ghul with the help of Nisa. So There you go. So with that in mind, there you have it. That is the complete character roster that you run into in the Arkham Knight video game and the Arkham Knight DLC levels. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and let me know down in the comment section below what is your personal favorite character. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys say. Peace out.